Hello friends. Petrol 4.7 liters has a timing belt drive. The 4.6 liter successor received a reliable chain-type timing drive. Petrol units do not cause problems. Some owners of gasoline 4.7 liters complain only about the appearance of vibrations in the range of 1700 to 1900 RPM. The 4.5 liter turbo diesel also has a reliable timing chain drive, but the engine itself is not so perfect. Versions of diesel engines of 2008 to 2010 often sinned with an oil burner after 80 to 100,000 kilometers, up to 1.5 to 2 liters per 5,000 kilometers. Owners of German cars smiled. This oil appetite is relatively small, but this turbo diesel is generally not prone to oil consumption. The cause of the troubles lay in the vacuum pump of the brake booster. The tightness was broken and the pump forced air into the engine crankcase, increasing the internal pressure. Excessive pressure contributed to increased oil consumption, including through the turbocharger. Later, in the second half of 2010, the design defect was eliminated. After 80 to 120,000 kilometers, the viscous coupling of an oil pump with a coolant heater often began to whistle. The turbocharger control unit is located in the right fender liner. Over time, dirt and moisture accumulate there, which causes malfunctions of the unit. Low-quality fuel is expected to affect the life of fuel injectors. Usually, they nurse at least 200 to 250,000 kilometers. After 150 to 200,000 kilometers, it is necessary to clean the Egr system from accumulated soot. Unfortunately, a number of diesel engines required replacement or overhaul. In some cases, 1VD FTV died due to the carelessness of the owners, contributed to wear and faulty nozzles. In addition, there is an opinion that the life of the engine is reduced by the abundance of soot that enters through the Egr system. Often, trouble happened due to damage to the perforated tube of the oil filter cup. It fell off when changing the filter. Inexperienced mechanics decided that they could do without it, so they simply threw out the extra part. As a result, when the cap was screwed on, the filter was deformed, which increased its internal resistance and reduced the throughput. The oil pressure dropped and the engine soon seized up. It is noteworthy that even the mechanics of official services made a fatal mistake. A common problem for both diesel and gasoline engines is the leakage of the cooling system pump after 80 to 120,000 kilometers. Many owners of various Toyota models have encountered this problem. After 200 to 250,000 kilometers, the radiator of the cooling system may leak. Shocks during automatic transmission shifts while driving, as well as at the moment of stopping, are not caused by malfunctions in the box, but by biting of the crosses of the rear drive shaft. Problems appeared after 20 to 30,000 kilometers and are well known to owners of the Prado 150. In most cases, the disease went away after the syringing of the cardans. If the shocks did not disappear, then the officers changed the drive shaft under warranty. Faulty propeller shaft cross pieces also cause vibrations. The machine itself does not cause problems. In the suspension, most often you have to change the bushings and struts of the rear anti-roll bar after 60 to 80,000 kilometers. Following this, with a run of more than 80 to 120,000 kilometers, the front wheel bearings often began to buzz. The remaining suspension units are hardy and do not require replacement up to 150 to 200,000 kilometers. Knocks in the steering when driving through small irregularities is another common phenomenon that is well known to the owners of the Prado 150. The disease developed after 30 to 40,000 kilometers, and its source was the spline connection of the steering shaft. In some cases, the officials resorted to replacing the steering column, but soon the knock appeared again. Then it was expelled by installing pressure washers after the retaining spring. But this was not a panacea. Subsequently, the craftsman came up with a backlash compensator. After 200 to 250,000 kilometers, the steering rack also starts to knock. The reason is the wear of the right support sleeve. After 100 to 150,000 kilometers, there is a souring of the rear calipers and a violation of the integrity of the anthers of the caliper pistons. On the first Land Cruiser 200, the front fog lights often fell out, a flimsy mount. Later, the mounting points of the fog lights were finalized. When dealing with a problem, dealers changed the entire bumper. On the Cruiser 200 operated on roads actively treated with reagents, centers of corrosion are often found on the frame. Of course, the frame will not quickly rot. This will take 20 years or even more, but the anti-corrosive treatment will not be superfluous. Red spots on older specimens can be found under door handles and near door hinges. Corrosion can attack the front fender mounts. Often, Land Cruiser owners are faced with swelling of chrome on the grille. The same thing happens with the chrome lining on the tailgate. Over time, the paint is wiped off the thresholds. A whitish bald spot appears through the black surface. Also, sometimes the upper part of the tailgate wipes the paint on the lower sash to the ground. There are also frequent problems with the tailgate lock after 30 to 60,000 kilometers, due to which the open door alarm is constantly displayed, the interior light turns on, or the standard alarm fails. In addition, the lock stops working due to a faulty button. The contacts are oxidized due to moisture. The button needs to be repaired or replaced. In the cabin, over time, the coatings of door handles are wiped, as well as wood grain inserts on the steering wheel and automatic transmission selector. Many owners complain about the rattling of the second row seats and front headrests. Also, squeaks often appear in the glove box area. Under the upholstery of the driver's seat cushion, and sometimes the passenger seat, a wrinkle appeared already in the first 10,000 kilometers. A foam rubber lining with built-in heating was folded into a tube. After 100 to 120,000 kilometers, the stove motor often began to whistle. The bushings wore out. Some owners in winter frosts were faced with an incorrect distribution of warm air. Cold air was blowing from one side, while hot air was blowing from the opposite side. The problem is related to the airing of the heater circuit. In official services, the problem was successfully solved by replacing the heater radiator. After replacing the radiator, it was often possible to defeat another common winter problem, cold air from the rear passenger air vents. One of the dealer's explanations of the root causes of this phenomenon is the strong cooling of the liquid in the tubes laid under the bottom of the body. Systematic glitches of electricians are not fixed. Failure of the parking sensors is usually caused by damage to the wiring under the bottom, corrosion of the connector contacts, or a malfunction of the sensor itself. If you know of other model malfunctions, be sure to write about it.